Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Read with Kim, and today we are going to do an amazing activity because it is the mid-year book freakout tag, and I just can't wait to share with you all the answers. Question number one, it is a book that made you cry. Easy. And I am talking about The Woman from Christine Hanna. This book, guys, this book made me cry for like a week. And we are following Frankie, and Frankie is a girl who enrolled to be a nurse and go to Vietnam to help the soldiers. So she goes there, and in the first part of the book, we are following everything that happens in a war. Love, friendship, a really special friendship, the traumas, the difficult situation, the loss, the deaths, the intensity about like the minimum needs are so important there. The second part of the book, we are following when she's coming back to the real world, like, you know, to the normal life, and how she has to do a lot of things in order to feel that she belongs there. And all the trauma that the war caused on her, the disappointments, there is a love there that I want to kill the guy. It's a lot. And I love that it's about women, because we always hear about men, but it's also the nurse, the part that nurse played there is just so important and crucial. And until I read this book, I have like so much knowledge about what's going on. So if you really want to have a good cry, but as well as like knowledge and feelings and emotions, Christine Hanna, this woman is just amazing. And The Woman is not a disappointment. You are going to love The Woman. Question number two, newest fictional crush. Also, well, that was not easy because I had a couple, but Race from the series of A Court of Thorns and Roses, like ACOTAR, like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books, and Race is my crush. Like, I think at this point, like many girls, we are so in love with him because he's kind of like this, like bad guy for outside, you know, so ego and so like whatever, but he loves so deeply to Farah, and the love story that they have is just amazing. And definitely he is my new favorite crush. Number three, who is your newest favorite character? And I was thinking, and I was like, who is my really favorite character? And I decided to choose this because this is the only time that a book made me fall in love with the three characters, the main ones, the only ones, and the three are women. And I was like, I have to pick this answer for this question. Even though they asked me for one character, I'm gonna break the rules and I'm gonna say I have three favorite characters on the same book. What about that? And I'm talking about the Wayward from Emilia Hart. We're following three women: Alta, Kate, and oh my goodness, I just forgot. It's Alta, Kate, and oh my god, Violet. Oh, Violet. So we are following the three of them in a different time of the history, and it's just amazing. One is at like 1400, the other one is in the 60s, and the last one is in the 2000, and all of them are suffering from, I will say, like male abuse. And it's so empowered how they are connected between them through the story, and how the magic play a role here. And it's so empowered. It's so amazing, and you're gonna learn a lot of lessons about self-love and how sisterhood really exists. And I don't know you, but after I read this book, I was like, I feel so connected, besides my mother, to my grandmother. And what about the mother of my grandmother? Like, my personality now, I feel, is coming from generations to generations, and that's how I am. And it's just fascinating me. So definitely the three newest favorite characters are in the Wayward book. Question is the favorite new author. Well, he's not really new, but for me it's new because I read a couple books of him, and the first one was really good, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a try. And the second one was really good too, and I was like, okay, I'm in love with this, and I'm going to read an entire series very soon. And I am talking about Brandon Sanderson. And my first encounter with him, it was Mistborn, which is 3 books, and I'm gonna read the 2 and 3 pretty soon. This question is not to talk about Mistborn, but Brandon Sanderson. Brandon Sanderson is just an incredible person, and I was wondering, is he really like worth the read? Because he's really trendy. He's so trendy, and yes, he is. Like, it's right now on the point where I said yes, it's worth every single page. And the way he writes is making it so easy, but also the imagination, the story, the passion, the love, the dialogues, and the world that he creates in this fantasy world that he lives, because clearly he's I believe, like, people call him like father of fantasy, like the Secret Project and everything. And if you're interested, it's so many people to talk about him, especially. But Brandon Sanderson is so far one of my favorite new authors that I discovered this year, because I've been reading a lot of fantasy recently. So definitely I'm gonna be reading more about Brandon Sanderson, and I wanna know more about him. The biggest surprise. My biggest surprise so far, it was one book that I picked from one author, Mario Puzo, because Godfather is one of my favorite books and movies I ever read and watched. And when I picked this book, and I'm talking about the family, I read a synopsis, and he started the book, but his wife was a person who actually ended the story. So I was very like, I don't know. I feel it's gonna, like, in some point be disconnected because it's not the same person who finished the story. And no, you don't, like, I couldn't even know where she took over the story and finished it. Like, it was completely amazing. It's completely realistic, I will say, even though it's a historical fiction story where we're following the Borgia family, which is within the church, because he's a pope, and everything that happens there, all the insanity. Yeah, it's a lot about insanity, power, ambition, treasure, even, like, I don't know if it called love, because it was a very convenient love, but it's like a lot of passion and a lot about confusing feelings, because I have to do this, but at the same time I love this person, but I have to do this, and hate, and you have to do the right thing even though it's not the thing that you feel is right, but because of your father said is right, you have to believe is right. Like, it's a lot. This book was a great surprise, and yeah, it was such an incredible surprise. 5 stars. Next question, it is the new release that you haven't read yet but you want to. And yes, actually I have the book. I just got it yesterday. I haven't read it, and I'm talking about All the Colors of the Dark from Chris Whitaker. So this is the book, and I'm literally, I'm not in page 5 and it's a thriller, and we are following, like, I don't know, this guy who his name is people call him Patch. His name is Joseph, and Joseph doesn't have one eye, so he always covers his eye like a patch, and he feels that he's a pirate, but everybody's like looking at him like, oh, the weird guy. He is a weird guy, and he's like kind of like a person who is killing someone there, and is killing many people, actually, like a serial killer. So I don't know, it's too soon for me to tell you what it is about. I really just pick it because I was reading and watching people talk about that, and it's a thriller, and I need to read a good thriller at this point. I've been reading so much like other genres, and I need to go back to my thrillers. So this is a book that is a new release, and I am currently in page 5, so I count it as I haven't read it, but I am in my way to read an amazing 2024 release. Question, it says, your biggest disappointed. Yeah, I have two so far in this year, in this half of the year. And both are really trendy, and I really hope I don't have much hate right now, because I feel like every time that I don't like a trendy book, I, tend to get some hate, which is normal, I understand. But I cannot be fake, and I cannot promote something that I just didn't like it. And one of them, it is Hello Beautiful, from Anna Politano, and it was an opera book club, and I picked it up because I read the comments, and it was like, oh yeah, it's a new Little Woman. And my favorite book is Little Woman, right? From my childhood, when I was like younger. No, it's not Little Woman. It has no comparison with Little Woman. It's just horrible. Like, we are following for sisters. That's the only thing that I can say. Okay, it's Little Woman. But there is this guy who married one of the sisters at the very beginning of the story, and you were like, okay. And then suddenly, he and one of the sisters fell in love, even though he's married with one of the sisters. And that's not the point. Like, starting from there is a horrible plot, because I was like, this is so, like, it's not something that I want to read. But not only that the author is like justifying the situation, and the way I feel like she went to like escape of the situation of like how people is gonna judge the sister is a disease. And because when someone has a disease like when she's gonna die, like everything turns pink and everything is good and the person is good, and so everybody has to forgive this person because the disease. No, like, it was just completely, for my opinion, lack of story, completely bizarre, having two sisters and one guy, and then have to tell one of the sisters has to die in order for all of them understand the situation. And then the guy is completely insecure and didn't feel happy with this marriage, which in the first place, why you marry then if you're not happy? But then you fall in love with the sister, which you feel more chemistry. And then there's a dysfunctional alcoholic dad, and the mother who also left them. It was just bizarre. Like, it was too much for me. It was a point where, like, okay, what is this book about? Like, what is the main plot? Like, what am I reading this? Like, it's like a mom who abandoned them, a father who's alcoholic, a sister who is betrayal the other sister, but at the same time they love each other, and they're trying to compare with Little Woman. No. And I was literally going to write the person who wrote even a comparison with Little Woman and say, you have no idea what you're talking about. So, big disappointed. Completely 0 stars. Like, no. And my disappointing number 2, which is also a really, really trendy book, and we have the second book this year, right now is out, and it wasn't that bad as the first one, but it was completely boring, and I didn't finish it. And actually I have to say, I read the first 100 pages and didn't hook me, and it wasn't a point of like, okay, I don't understand what I'm reading. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it another chance, because maybe I'm distracted, because I'm very easy to get distracted. So for me to read a book, the book has to trap me. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna reread it, and I reread it, and it was the same feeling. And I am talking about Emily Wills and the Encyclopedia of Fairies. It's not that bad. It's just, for me, it was like super predictable. Like, she's a girl who is a researcher on science, and she is creating this book about the encyclopedia of all the fairies. So she goes to this place to continue like investigating, and she is becoming in this world, and then she has this friend who she believes he is a fairy because he's acting in a specific way. So obviously it's a love story, cute, nice, the people who she founds it, the fairies, the magic. It's cute, but it's very predictable. It was nothing surprising me. I was like, okay, like, no. And I didn't finish it. I know it's something about like specific fairies are taking the kids, and they want to try to understand why, and also the guy wants to go back to his kingdom because he was like exiled from there. I don't know. It was not something that hooked me. Maybe it was good for specific people, but not for me. But it was not as bad as this. But however, I give this 1 star. Question, it is best sequel you read so far in 2024. And I love this, and I have to read 2 more books of this, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna keep going, but it was super fun. And I am, the first one, it is Killing It, from Finally Dovan, this one. And the second book of this is Finally Dovan Knows. Well, this is super amazing book. It's super fun, and we are following Finally, and Finally is a woman who her husband left her for another colleague, and she's taking care of her 2 kids, and then she needs money, and somehow she is being hired to kill a husband of another woman, and the husband is just a cheater. So she's doing it with the help of her best friend, that they became best friends in this weird situation. Anyway, it's super fun. It's amazing. It's a horrible funny. Everything that she goes through is just insane. So when I finished this, I was like, I have to read the second book. And the second book is as well super good. Now here we see her finally more like empowered, more confident, and we also, I love, because we have 2 main guys there. One, he's younger than her, that I love that story, and the other one is a police who is like on like her same age. Like, he's good looking, and he's like way more mature. So she's like, oh my god, who am I going with, a kid or with a guy, right? And also we have ex-husband, who actually he kind of wants her back right after like he lost her. Now he wants her back. Wait, no. But anyway, it's super fun, and you are going to love, and that's the best sequel. And I keep reading because it's really funny and thriller, and you're gonna be super hooked. And the last question, it is, what is the best book you read so far in 2024? And I have two here. They're chunky though, but they're so good. They're thrillers. And my first one is from the king, Stephen King, and I am talking about 11/22/63. Is chunky, but guys, I finished this book in literally, I don't know, like a week. And we are following, it's just amazing. We are following this professor who has in his house, he can have people going to the past. So he met this other colleague, because this professor is gonna die. So he met this colleague and said, we have to go and try to avoid the John F. Kennedy kill. Like, we have to avoid the situation. We have to get the killer before he actually kills John F. Kennedy. So every time that he goes to the past and he comes back, everything was deleted. So everything that you did, once you come back and you go back again, you have to start over. So it's just amazing. I had such an incredible time reading this book. I am not sure if it's a horror or it's thriller or what the hell it is, but it's just amazing. And Stephen King did such an incredible story and job in this book. The book that I want to talk about, it is A Secret History from Donna Tartt. Wow. I'm just gonna say, like, this book, it took her 8 years, 8 freaking years to write this story, and it took me 2 weeks to finish it. It's very chunky. The writing is really small, so I recommend to get a different edition because it was like troubling to read, but it was an amazing horror story. And we are following 5 kids. 5 kids. Well, they're not really kids, they're teenagers. Well, kind of like college, university, where they are in this Greek class. And in order for you to belong to this Greek class, you have to give up to everything else, to all other classes, and only focus on the Greek class. So we have this guy who is like able to do it because he wants to belong to this group, select group. And then he starts meeting these guys, and he's like, okay, this is weird. All those people are weird. They're bullies, they have a lot of alcohol, drug problem, and they kill one of them. And the incredible part of this book is they justifying the murder. Like, they keep justifying why this guy has to be killed. And you start believing that. You were like, oh my God, yes. I used to have, like, I was start feeling pity for them. And I was like, they shouldn't get caught. And you have to come to this book with an open mind, because it's a lot of insanity and it's a lot of like drugs, alcohol, how they play in your brain and in your thoughts and your actions. It's crazy. And when I was finished this book, I was like, I need a break. Like, I really need a break for like a couple of weeks to process what I was reading. But it was amazing. Like, I understood, thanks to this book, that not because it didn't end the way I wanted, or the story didn't, like, it was challenging me the way I was educated and thinking, it was a bad book. Because it was extremely good, even though I don't agree. See what I mean? So I hate all of them, and at the same time I love all of them. You have to read this book. You have to read this book if you need this insanity in your life in some point, and be an open mind, and you're gonna need a break after this. But so far, this is an incredible book that I read this year, and I'm sure it's gonna be in my top 3 books. Like, forget about top 10, top 3. I would say it's the best book, but I still have 6 more months, and who knows what I'm gonna be encountering over there. But the thing is, when you read things like that, your expectations are coming super high. So that's what I think. Another disappointments are like, yes, because my expectations are so high, thanks to those amazing stories. It is what it is. Thank you so much for being here, and I'm gonna see you next week with a new bookish adventure.